Really it comes down to this. The first intelligence organizations or intelligence operations like the KGB or the CIA or the FSB were secret societies. You know, for a long time they denied there were even secret societies. Now they're all open about it. Skull and Bones, Bohemian Grove, you know, which are all Masonic themselves. People say, well, how many societies are there? There's just different branches of the same thing. And then people get confused and think there's different groups or different religions. It's the same religion. There's just all these different spin-off groups. But I would call something like Bohemian Grove a mothership, you know, in that whole movement. And all these are basically the intelligence agencies of old. And if you look at who founded the intelligence agencies at Yale, where Skull and Bones is located, they admit, there's a movie out about it, maybe Robert De Niro right now, about it being founded at Yale. Being founded predominantly out of Yale, also some out of Harvard and Princeton. These are the sons of the elite, the daughters of the elite, and they go and they're already in secret societies, and who knows best to start the CIA out of the OSS. You know, their private intelligence networks go back to the British East India Company, the Dutch East India Company, the French East India Company. They had the first intelligence networks to know where the goods were, to know where pirates were, to waylay ships, to protect their cargoes, to have secret cipher communications in India. That's how they operate. That's how they do this.
So again, talking about Bohemian Grove, but you didn't work there, did you? Or you did?
No, I didn't work there. I snuck in there one time. Then 5 years later, I snuck in 2000. Then 5 years later, I was contacted by someone that worked there who wanted to give footage they'd shot. And so I put that in my film, The Order of Death. My Infiltration is Dark Secrets Inside Bohemian Grove. Two different films.
Right. How did you sneak there? Like I
snuck around through a little swamp, around the woods into the parking lot, and then rode in on one of the buses that takes members in, posing as a member. But now the security's 10 times heavier.
Okay, but back to those times, you didn't have to have any, you know, proof that you remember.
They do check. No, they do check most IDs, but they thought my ID had been checked when I got on the bus, so I slipped through. Now they always check the ID, even like when President Bush goes there, they still check his ID. Everyone has their ID checked. After I snuck in, the security went way up. Okay, I'm fast forwarding the tape for you to the point where we sneak into the Grove. That is around through a kind of a bog, a moat, up into the parking area, past the first checkpoint. We get on one of the Grove members' buses that brings people in, the shuttles. We're able to slip through the main security checkpoint by doing that. We'll be to that in just a second. This is the part in the film where we're about to infiltrate.
It was the night of July 15, 2000. Mike Hansen and I were about to attempt the first ever successful infiltration of the Bohemian Grove. Others have tried and failed. No one has ever actually made it in and out with video evidence. After careful planning, we decided the best tactic would be to...
And explain me about your careful planning and how did you manage to get in?
Into the heavily wooded area.
There's an entrance to the Grove, and there's several layers of checkpoints. So we just simply snuck around the first checkpoint in the woods and acted like Grove members in the parking lot to then get on to one of the shuttle buses and get taken in as a member through the final checkpoint. And they didn't check our IDs. Since we snuck in, there's a lot more security, and now they do.
Okay.
And we're here at the tape where we're being taken in the car, about to get out with our hidden camera and sneak into the Grove.
So which areas, can you again, for example, fast forward on that moment on certain areas and describe how you get there, what kind
Sure,
of
well here's the infiltration. Here we are, getting out of the car, about to plunge into the woods. And these are those first moments going over a fence around the main entrance into the parking area.
So can you tell me what did you think before you see this club? Like what was your views on American politics and how did it change after you sneaked there?
Well, I mean, I already knew that a lot of our politicians Masons were involved in secret societies. Helmut Schmidt, the German chancellor, back in the 80s, had written a book, Men in Power, as a political retrospective, where he bragged that they did rituals in Germany, but he loved the rituals they did there in Northern California. So I was already aware they were doing it. It just confirmed it with my own eyes to see it happen. And then it confirmed it for the public with the video I was able to shoot with Dark Secrets inside Bohemian Grove, and then subsequently the Order of Death.
But what was the most surprising thing that you saw? Like, what was still there was probably something that changed your, well, some new information, obviously. So how did your perspective change on that?
I just had knowledge that it really was true that our leaders really are into the occult, and they really are doing weird rituals.
Well, can you tell some interesting details about inside the Bohemian Grove? What weird stuff did you see except the cremation of care?
Well, what was a lot weirder than a 40-foot stone owl and men in red and black robes resurrecting an ancient Canaanite ritual of child sacrifice with a mock child? And we've since then, with it from an employee, gotten photos of the effigy. It's just like a small human. We've since then learned that the Church of Satan did mock sacrifices. Anton LaVey, it's on YouTube, him talking about how they do mock human sacrifices. And what was even weirder thing there was that they took it so serious. I'm sitting there and they're doing this ritual in a stylized way, and I'm thinking to myself, are they taking this serious, or is this just stupid? Because I was trying to be objective, and then being around the old men, because there's like 1,000 old men there by the water watching across the pond the actual ritual, and they were going, burn that son of a bitch, get him. They were getting real serious. They were taking all this very, very, very seriously, and so that concerned me. This is just us sneaking in right here. About 30 minutes later, we were hiding in the woods. We sneak up out of this kind of embankment, this moat, up into the parking area, which had gotten us past one checkpoint. The main checkpoint was deeper inside. Here we are emerging into the parking area. That's where the members and then also the employees are parked. And that's off a tiny hidden camera.
Comment on the episode where you are on the truck and you're asking somebody about the robe?
Yes, that's about to happen. Mm-hmm. We didn't want to get on one of the trucks that had nobody on it because we know they'd question us. We thought if we got on with some members that we wouldn't be questioned, and sure enough, the bus pulled up, the truck pulled up, and we got on with two members. Then they started having a discussion about how much their robe cost for the ritual. So they discuss it.
On top of it,
yeah.
lying down?
Yeah. That you can actually...
Well, they used to have the one you could drive through.
That's also there. That's up there.
And then right here, the members talk about their robe. Their robes and how much they cost.
Oh, yeah.
Then we had to shift it around so they wouldn't see us and aim the camera at them. Little bitty. This was a camera hidden in a pager. It looked like a pager. How much was the robe?
What was it? What the camera? What was it?
Oh, that whole robe.
Oh, their ceremonial robe.
Well, what camera was hidden?
Because you're not allowed to have cameras. Members aren't even allowed to have cameras.
No, I mean, where your pager, your hidden camera, where was it?
It was on a little bag we were carrying, and then later in the night I decided it wasn't getting good enough video. So I cut a hole in the bag and just shoved the camera that the pager was hooked to. Because, the pager was just a camera. It was hooked to a deck that was a camera. So I just went with the camera later to actually shoot the ritual. Because you can see this surveillance camera video isn't very good. We shot the ritual with a better camera because at night we could hide it better.
No, go ahead.
This is us getting off now into the grove proper. See a little owl?
Can you just